What's going on, guys? Wanted to make a video and talk a little bit about a video that I recently posted and shared to some various knife maker forums, as well as a small clip to Instagram, which showed a vibration test that I did on my grinder. And it's a pretty standard test I've seen quite a number of times on a number of different machines, usually involving just a single coin, such as a nickel, being balanced with the machine running at speed. And a lot of times it's either contact wheel or flat platen, and it's simply used to show that the machine runs smoothly, or that there's small enough of vibration and that it won't knock a coin over while it's running. And I kind of decided to up the ante a little bit and use 4 coins, one of each of the American currency. I had a dime, a nickel, a penny, and a quarter, all balanced at various points of the machine, just to show that it really didn't matter what size coin you used. If your machine's truly running smoothly, you should be able to balance just about anything on it. And I also decided to stack the odds a little bit against my favor by using my flat platen, which in my opinion, if it's going to vibrate, it's probably going to vibrate a little bit more than the other tool arms, such as your contact wheels, which only have a couple of bearings to consider, whereas the flat platen has not only twice as many wheels, twice as many bearings, which are a potential source of vibration in and of themselves. But it's also got a pretty significant amount of contact area with the belt, as well as some sharp corners, or relatively sharp corners for the belt bump or the belt splice to come over. And again, in my opinion, if you're going to see vibration out of any of your tool arms at full speed, it's probably going to be the flat platen versus, say, an 8 or a 10-inch contact wheel. Now, small wheels are kind of their own thing. I really didn't feel comfortable running one at 100% or full speed, as the bearings are going really past the rated speed at that point, and that could very easily be destroyed or burned out. So I kind of felt like the flat platen was maybe the one to go with. And as you could see from the clip, I was able to balance 4 coins for however long the video lasted. Unfortunately, I really didn't show any of the coins being balanced, nor did I knock them over, just to show that there wasn't any foul play of any kind involved. And while I believe most of the comments, if not all of them, were said jokingly, there were several comments made that kind of referenced super glue or using adhesive of some kind. And though I kind of specified that in the video that none was used, as well as in the comment sections, I will go on record saying there were no tricks involved. It did take a while to get all 4 to balance, which was more just, the idea of balancing coins in and of itself. It was not the easiest thing to do. But there wasn't any glue used. The coins weren't altered in any way. And just to prove that to everybody, whether there was any question or not, I figured I'd go ahead and take the dime that I used, which is a standard US dime, and go ahead and balance it for you while the camera's on, while the machine's running, and show you that it is possible. And really, I also want to take a little bit of time after that to talk about the validity or the value of this test, if there is any at all. So that's kind of another motive for this video, but I figured while we had the camera going, while we're talking about it, we might as well show it again as well. So just to show you, this is a standard US dime. No modifications, no flat spots. A little piece of dirt there maybe. You can see the ridges are still pretty sharp. See, it looks like a 1983. So it's actually a little bit older than I am, believe it or not. And then we'll show the grinder here. There's no blobs of glue or adhesive I'll try to balance it up around this point. Now I am kind of fighting the air circulation of the motor as well as the belt, but there seems to be a little spot there on the edge that I can kind of get it to balance on. Another thing to consider, if I didn't mention it in the post or in the video description, this will be running at 100%. I know I showed that on the video, but what that means is I'm actually at 120 hertz. I've jumpered this to 2 times speed or double the frequency. This is an 1800 RPM motor, so essentially we're running it at 3600 RPM. Now the drive wheel is actually a 5-inch wheel versus your standard 4-inch, so your belt speed is going to be a little bit faster than a similar setup with a 4-inch wheel. I haven't done any surface feet per minute calculations. You guys can do that on your own if you want to, if that's important to you. I don't know what that is other than we're running at a pretty good speed here. And actually I think I can leave the camera right here for the test and show you the balancing. But let's go ahead and turn this on, and then once again I would like to talk about whether there's really any value or merit to this test whatsoever. But I'll go ahead and fire this up full speed. So hopefully that shows up pretty well, and there's just a little bit of a jolt as it stops, which normally knocks it over. So as you can see, there was no adhesive use there, no tricks, just a little bit of trial and error trying to get it to balance, which if anyone's ever tried to balance a dime on any surface knows it can be somewhat of a challenge. Much more so on something like a running machine. Now, what I really want to talk about is what is the value of this test, if any. Is there really any merit or any meaning to this test? And, you know, does it mean your grinder's inferior in any way if you can't perform that test? And, you know, really, I think maybe in some circles there's a little bit more stock given to this than needs to be. You know, does it mean you have a good grinder? You know, not necessarily. In my opinion, the main thing you could take away from it is, sure, your machine's running smoothly, but why is it running smoothly? Probably has to do with the quality of the wheels above all else. Maybe slightly behind that would be the motor, whether it's balanced or has any vibration in it. Certainly if you got a slightly bent shaft on your motor, that would kind of translate into some moderate vibration. If you've got bad bearings or a seized up bearing, maybe one wheel's not turning as fast as the other, say on your flat platen or a tracking wheel, that could certainly show up as some vibration. If you've got maybe not enough tension on the belt where it's a little floppy, you know, there's a number of things that could make a machine vibrate. Some of those can be improved, you know, fairly easily. Some may require replacement of parts or pieces. You know, if you've got a couple of loose parts here and there, maybe some loose bolts, yeah, that might translate into a little bit of vibration as well. But is it really saying a whole lot about the machine, one way or the other? You know, in my opinion, not necessarily. I mean, if you can't do it, and if it's vibrating so much, you know, that you can't even balance a nickel, then yeah, there may be some issues to address, and it may be as simple as just changing to some new wheels, maybe getting a higher quality abrasive belt. If you've got a belt and pulley system like on my no-weld grinder here, maybe try a precision ground shaft, better quality belt, some balanced pulleys. Again, going back to wheels, belt tension, all of that plays a factor. The quality of the machine itself, yeah, that may have a little bit to do with it, but I won't say that if you can do this, it necessarily means that you've got the nicest machine on the market, or if you can't, that you've got a bad one. At the end of the day, it really boils down to what kind of knives you can make with your machine, and how well you can make it do what you want it to do. And vibrations can play a small part in that. Obviously a smoother machine's going to be a little bit easier to use, a little bit more enjoyable to use. But this test really isn't the end-all be-all of grinder quality tests or reviews. So I kind of just wanted to throw that out there. This was mostly all done in fun, just because I've seen it so many times. I just kind of wanted to test myself and to see if my machine could do it. And any success I have, I probably owe mostly to the quality of the wheels. And once again, I know I've mentioned this before, but these were purchased from eBay from seller VW Jackstraw. And in my opinion, he makes some of the finest wheels on the market for really not that unreasonable of a price. They're actually cheaper than the Beaumont wheels that I've originally put on my no-weld grinder, which are very good wheels in and of themselves, and which were what I previously thought were the best that you could buy. But after getting and receiving these, there's actually a number of things I actually like about these more. And in my opinion, they're every bit as good, if not arguably a fair amount better than the Beaumont wheels and other wheels I've seen and used. So definitely recommend checking those out. There are cheaper wheels you can buy. There's certainly more expensive wheels you can get, but I don't think they'll be any better than these. So highly recommend that. I think that has probably more than anything to do with the smoothest of the machine. The motor is going to play somewhat of a role in that, and interestingly enough, this is actually one of the cheapest motors you can buy. It's an Iron Horse from Automation Direct. It's an imported motor. I think I paid $160 shipped, maybe $165. It's a 2-horse motor, stamped steel frame, and certainly not the epitome of quality, but it seems to be relatively well balanced, and certainly does what I need it to for the money. So, maybe I got lucky with that, but as you can see, it is balanced enough that I can do this somewhat arbitrary test successfully. So that's kind of my thoughts on that, guys. Again, it's not the end-all be-all test of anything, in my opinion. If you can't do it, again, there may be certain things that you can do to improve your chances of being able to. A lot of it may just be a little bit of skill, a little bit of luck in balancing the coin. The rest of it is just, how smooth are your wheels, how smooth is your motor. The base on this machine is certainly anything but sturdy, as you could see. So I'm really not relying on that at all. I actually didn't even have my handles tight, which could have tightened up any minor vibrations, or if anything, transferred them to the base. But there's a number of things to consider. Any of them could be the cause of or against any vibrations you have. You just kind of got to look at things critically and see if they're worth changing or doing any maintenance on at all. Again, belts, pulleys, shafts, those can all be changed. Getting a good set of wheels is definitely a step in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it's really more about the knife maker and what you're doing with the machine, in my opinion, than it is about the machine. Sure, you know, certain things do help the learning curve. You know, having good equipment is helpful, but you know, whether or not you can balance a penny or a dime or a straight pin or what have you on your machine really may not mean as much as some might give it credit for. So keep that all in mind. Hopefully this video was entertaining, if anything. Maybe you learned a little bit of something as well, or thought about something you hadn't. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And I do appreciate the views, guys, as well as the dialogue. And hope to have some more content for you in the future. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.